We're off the leash.
We're off the leash. We're uncensored, uncooked, and raw. Yeah, so before I was listening to some songs from Frozen, as you do.
Yep.
And I was trying to, like, I was going through the songs. I was like, having a good time listening. I was like, why did I start listening to this? Why, like, what was I doing? And then I got to Let It Go, and I was like, oh yeah, because of Kingdom Hearts. I can't. And so they recreated the entirety of Let It Go from the movie in Unreal Engine 4 for that game.
I don't know why. Like, I really am baffled as to why.
I can't remember how much Elsa has to do with that game, but I don't remember it being very much at all. She's definitely not a playable party member, which I was looking forward to. I thought that would be cool.
Yeah. I wasn't disappointed with who we got as a playable party member because he was fucking cool. But, like, I also haven't seen the movie, so
Yeah.
I didn't think that was a problem going into it, but it definitely kind of was because I did not understand what was going on, and neither did Mitch. So we were just sort of playing it, being like, okay, I guess that's what happened. So I guess we're doing this now, and I don't know anyone's names. We'll just go with it.
I guess I don't have to watch the movie anymore.
Yeah, I feel like I got the gist of it.
So the night before Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, I rewatched Tangled because
Yeah?
I knew there was, sorry, not rewatched. I watched it for the first time because I'd heard Tangled was really, really good. And I knew there was a Tangled level in the game, and I was like, well, I should probably watch this movie just in case I spoil anything. And then played the level, and it's literally just the movie with no changes whatsoever. And I was like,
Yeah.
I've just watched this movie twice.
Yeah, I hadn't watched it in a long time, but as I was playing, I was like, oh yeah, I know what's going to happen next. But then, like, it exactly happened that way. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, guess this is how we're doing it now.
Huge call. Tangle isn't as good as it had been hyped up to be, but that's fine.
I feel like those sorts of, like, if you'd heard it's good too many times and then it's just not possible to come back from it, because that's how I felt about, I mean, different because it's objectively not a good movie, but that's how I felt about Avatar, the James Cameron movie. Because I didn't see it I didn't see it when it first came out. I saw it like a couple of weeks after it came out, and everybody had just said it was like the greatest movie of all time, and it was okay. And the more I thought about it, as I was like, in recent times, I was like, that movie was Pocahontas, but
Yeah,
not.
but CGI.
Yeah.
We should probably get onto our topic, although I do want to keep talking about this. Oh, that's what
Yeah.
I had one more point. Not going to get to the topic whatsoever. I was thinking, like, when Frozen came out, that got hated on, like, so hard. Like, everyone was like, this is the worst thing ever. And I was trying to think about why. And I was like, oh, it's because little girls liked it. And then if you watch Lindsay Ellis's video about Twilight, yeah, her Twilight video, yeah, it goes through that.
Look, put it out there. I read those Twilight novels when I was a teenager because every fucking girl at my went to an all girls school, every girl at my school did that. That was like the thing. And everyone was like, would talk about it. And they were enjoyable novels for a teenage girl to read. It's almost like they were like targeted to that specific segment. It doesn't matter if you didn't like it because odds are you weren't a teenage girl.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Also, I can't remember if I've mentioned it on this show or not before, but the cinematography in those movies is very interesting. Anyway,
we're not here to talk about cinematography though. We're here to talk about the bloody sports ball that we love.
the big teams. Whose turn is it to do the intro?
I think it's my go. If not, I'll just do it anyway because I railroaded this topic. Welcome to Pokemon X and Y. I'm Bianca.
I'm Brendan.
And we are here talking about sports. Those popular sports teams that we know and love. Those are good old-fashioned Australian sports teams. And yes, the Swans are my team. You'll notice here I have a Fremantle scarf on for some reason. And also, Geelong Cat scarf. It's backwards. It's upside down. You get the picture.
And sorry. Do you have more footy accoutrement?
No.
I am obviously wearing a baseball jersey, except it is not a baseball jersey. It is Shane McMahon, the wrestler. Just say, yes, on the back, it just says The Money.
The Money. Was that like his nickname? The Money?
His intro song is "Here Comes the Money, 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 Money."
Oh, right.
Um,
Okay.
here's Vince McMahon's son, ergo he's rich. I like Shane McMahon used to wrestle in the 90s. I used to love Shane McMahon. I used to love these jerseys, except they're super hard to get because he left the company in the 2000s. However, he came back and made these jerseys, and this is the best one. I was super happy to get one on the internet.
Nice.
Anyway.
So yeah, I thought about, actually, I got this idea from Mitch, who said, it's footy season, you should do a footy themed episode. And I thought, oh, fucking brilliance. And now that the AFL's done and the NRL have had their grand finals, not without their controversies, but for entirely different reasons, it's the perfect time to assign. And I was originally going to do every like professional football team, or at least for the AFL and NRL, but there's 36 teams, which is a lot. And I know jack shit about the NRL. Like, I sat down to do the slides and I was like, I really don't know anything about the NRL. So I do get Brendan to help me do it, because I mean, it's a very bold assumption. Like, I don't have any confidence about these other teams because who knows what they're really like. So this is just a selection of what the broader football landscape in Australia looks like, and we're just gonna see what Pokemon would they be, what Pokemon embodies their spirit best.
But Bianca, before we get to that,
oh yeah, we've got something super important to talk about. How could I forget? Oh, so there was a 24-hour Twitch stream that the Pokemon Company, I think it was the Pokemon Company, did. And it was just like it was like set up as like, oh, we're putting a camera in one of the forests in the Galar region and we're going to see what we can see. And the answer was not much, really, until right at the very end, of course. You had to watch all 24 hours to see it. We got this image of what we all assume is Galarian Ponyta, so another regional variant like the Alolan forms. But, oh my God. Do you love it? I love it.
I love it a big amount.
A big amount.
I am so keen to see what it evolves into as well. But as it is, the color palette, beautiful. Very
beautiful,
lo-fi.
Beautiful pastels.
Lo-fi pastels. I don't know if colors... I don't know if colors can be lo-fi, but they are here.
They definitely are here. It reminds me of like, and obviously the texture, the look of their mane and tail helps with this. It just looks like just fairy floss. Just want to cuddle it up. Maybe take a little bite and see if it tastes like fairy floss.
Yeah, I didn't even like fairy floss, but I want to bite that horse's tail.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh no, my cats.
The cats are at it again.
They're bloody at it again. On stream, exposed. Yeah,
something that I thought was interesting was that was all there was revealed in the 24-hour stream. Like, because there were lots of Pokemon on the stream, but these were the only new, like, never before seen mons. Because there was Morlulls, there was our most hated friend Impidimp. Yeah, there was some Swirlixes, there was some Pikachus, but they're just Pokemon. Like, it was kind of cool to see them wandering around a forest, but I was a little surprised that there was just one like Pokemon revealed. I thought there would be more.
Over 24 hours.
Yeah,
at least 3.
Yeah,
but you know, it was a cool concept. They're trying something out. I guess you know how they are.
Yeah,
Nintendo always trying out crazy ideas. I just happened to be awake when this started. I think it was like 11 p.m. on Friday or Saturday.
Yeah, it was.
So I put it on for a little bit. I was very disappointed. I didn't know what to expect. I was just like, because it took about 8 minutes, I think, for anything to happen. And it's very relaxing. There's music playing as well. Well, not really music, just ambient sounds. But like a sort of chime thing going off. But yeah, after 8 minutes, a Pikachu ran in and was like, hey, and then ran away. I was like, oh, this is it, isn't it?
Yeah. The whole idea of it kind of reminded me, and I don't know if you followed the Twitter accounts or you were like aware of how they did it, but I know that Heroes of the Storm used to do this. Whenever there was a new character coming, they would tweet something, a short-ish video, and often it had a tiny little clue about what was coming, and you could speculate on what the new hero was that was coming. And I feel like that would have worked better if they like had tweeted out just like some of the clips, you know, where it was running around in the background, just to get people hyped, like to guess at what it was, because there were some bits like early on when you could just see something, so people were trying to guess even then. I feel like they maybe could have tried that instead of like stringing it out over 24 hours and making people scared, you know, have FOMO from walking away from the stream.
Yeah, interesting. That is a good idea. I for some reason I just don't see them revealing Pokemon designs on Twitter, but it would be fucking awesome if they did. Hot still does that, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
It's been a bit obscure because the last character was an original character, so they're very hard to predict.
Yeah.
But yeah, love it. Love Galarian Ponyta. We'll hopefully catch one and have it in my party and love it forever.
Excellent. Is there anything else we need to talk about before we move on to the meat and bones of this?
Fuck Impy Dimp. So by the way, Impy Dimp, like, it was the first time like a Galarian Ponyta was on the screen. You could see that something was about to be revealed, and then Impy Dimp walks in front of the camera, and it's a gag. And it's like if you're watching this for hours, that's a massive fuck you to them.
Yeah, it was like real like slapstick comedy style shit, where like right as it came into frame, he just walked up and like stood this close to the camera and was just like, his stupid tongue hanging out, and then just walked off, and made you miss what was happening. So,
I mean, it's amusing.
Yeah, it is. It is something I feel like that's the energy that Impy Dimp gives off. It's very on brand for him to block the camera like that.
Yeah,
but
it's very on brand to be a massive dickhead.
Yeah.
To be the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
Should we talk about footy? Because that's what we're here for.
Let's. Some of this I already said. I didn't do every team in the AFL NRL landscape because there's too many and I don't know enough. I also just didn't pick the Pokemon based on like the mascots or like the look of it, because that would be too easy, and also too hard in some cases,
and also boring, to be honest.
Yeah. Like I'm sure that if you wanted to find a Pokemon that looks like a swan, you could find that. There's one. It's called Swanna. There we go. So it's more about, I guess, the vibe of the club that it gives off, and just to try and match them up to something that best represents their energy. I also have this video clip here. It's not related to anything at all. I just think it's really funny and I would very much like to watch it.
Yeah, I did watch it before and I thought it was very funny and I was like, great choice.
All right.
So the rules for this, that we're doing your football thing, it's the same as our star ratings for Pokemon.
Yeah.
He's got some tricks. Goal to Zorko. There might have been an early call on the Magician after he kicked the goal. There's a lot of shaking hands going on.
I love when he does it. He reminds me of my workmate who used to, whenever we would go out and like hang out, even outside of work, he would just do these really over-the-top handshakes with everybody like he was at work. Fucking loved it.
I don't know why, but it's funny. It's very funny.
No shake of the hand this time.
Especially because like some people have like really over-the-top celebrations and like do stupid things, but then just the simple handshake, you know, never goes out of style.
Should we get to our first Pokemon / AFL team?
Let's. So I started with Richmond. How could I not? They won the premiership and like the most popular club in the country. I don't know of any club in Australia that has more than 100,000 members, but Richmond do. I think that Raikou is best aligned, right? Firstly, yellow and black. For those of you who don't know, there's all the AFL clubs have theme songs. The Richmond theme song is an absolute banger. It's up there with GWS as the best song in the league. It's got this one line where it's not really a line. Everybody just sort of like screams out yellow and black really fucking loudly in the middle of the song. It's if you're ever at a Richmond game and they win and everyone's singing the song at the end, it's awesome. So even though I said I wasn't going to do it based on aesthetics, I had to pick something that was yellow and black. It would be wrong otherwise. So Richmond were very successful, like historically successful, like back in, I don't know, the 80s or 60s or some shit, like before I was born. Um,
The 80s or the
but
60s. Definitely not the 70s, though.
I genuinely don't know which exact decade it was,
That's
but they
fine.
were
That's fine.
successful. And then they went through a real fucking dark period for about 15 years in like the 90s and the early 2000s. They were like in shitloads of debt. They had barely any members, like not good all around. Their administrative side was just a shit show. And then they like got their act together. So and like, you know, won 2 premierships in 3 years, which is pretty fucking good. Raikou hasn't quite come back and done anything to warrant the winning 2 premierships in 3 years, but I actually genuinely really struggled to find a Pokemon that like had a good time, like dropped off and then had a resurgence lately. That was like also yellow and black, so I was really hell-bent on having it. But I mean, Raikou was obviously super popular when Gen 2 came out and then has declined ever since. But who knows, maybe there could be a resurgence in Sword and Shield.
Possibly.
Possibly. Probably not, but we'll see.
Yeah, I have a couple points. Number one, like, what the shit is Raiku's design, TBH?
Yeah, I know. The thing on his face. Oh, that's a really low-res photo. I'm going to replace that real quick while we talk.
Okay.
The faceplate, what is that?
There's a lot going on. It's extremely busy, and I understand it's a legendary Pokemon, so, like, sure. But, yeah, it kind of reminds me of a Hanna-Barbera character as well. With the tusks, the massive fangs.
Yeah.
And just its expression. I don't know why. The almost tribal tattoos are very 2000, which is when the game came out, or 1999, or one of those years. It probably came out in 1999 in Japan. But Pikachu is, well, I guess. Pikachu, it's always been on top there. Never had a 15-year lol. Electabuzz,
exactly.
whoever sucks ass, so, you know.
Yeah. Well, the only reason I had him there was because he's yellow and black. Like, there's literally nothing else, but he is the yellow and black Pokemon. But yeah, the others, they didn't have the right narrative to align them correctly because
that's the most important.
It's just too fucking good all
I'm
the
just
time.
going to unplug and plug in my webcam again because it keeps blacking out for me. Hang on. Do I come back automatically? Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So, I have a question. Are there any tiger Pokemon?
So I don't think so.
Which is weird, right?
Yeah, because that was the first thing I was trying to investigate. I looked through. I was like, I have this Pokédex website that I always go to look through, like, because they got little pictures of the Pokemon as well. And I couldn't see any that jumped out to me as tiger. There was like these were the closest ones, like Arcanine, Pyroar, and Raikou were the closest ones to a tiger. But there isn't an actual tiger Pokemon, like a orange, black and white tiger, like what you imagine a tiger looks like.
Yeah, which is, I feel like it's weird. Like, it seems like an obvious animal to sort of base it on. And there's other large cat/dog type looking Pokemon.
Yeah,
it's weird.
So it is a little weird.
I would say anyway, Raikou sort of looks like a big cat, but it's also got that giant purple mullet going on, and
it's like it's funny you said mullet, because I'm thinking cape. Like, that's the vibe that I'm getting. Like, it's a cape that's got like fluffy ends, which I don't like.
Yeah, neither are what I would call my favorite. Yeah, it's just the main problem though is that it's extremely busy. Too many colors going on and too many features going on. Take out 3 of those features and it'd be better.
Yeah.
I don't care which ones. It honestly doesn't matter.
I feel you.
Yeah. As for Richmond, yes, no opinion. I don't know enough about AFL. Let's move on.
Let's move on. Next one. The team that I'm wearing the scarf for. It's my boyfriend's team. Geelong Cats. So the Cats, right? You'd think that'd be pretty easy. You'll note that Incineroar is not navy at all. But like I said, I'm not really too fussed about the aesthetics. I'm trying to find the one that matches the energy. I don't like playing against Incineroar in Smash because I don't like being thrown around up here, there, and everywhere and bounced off a rope and having no control about what I'm doing. He's very strong and powerful, and I don't like that. And so is Geelong. They're a very strong, powerful club to play against, especially when they have a home game. They barely lose, unless Sydney's playing them, in which case we win a lot at the Geelong home stadium. We're the only team that does. Everyone else has a shit record at Geelong's home ground, except for Geelong. Geelong weren't renowned for having, I guess, a golden period like lots of other Victorians claim to have back in the good old days when it was still the VFL and not the AFL. So they didn't have, I guess, a period of dominance where they won lots of premierships. But they did win 3 in 5 years. So like every second year, 2007, 2009, 2011, which kind of, I guess, mimics Incineroar's meteoric rise to success.
Very meteoric.
Yeah. And also Incineroar is a heel, right? Like that's a wrestling term, right?
Yes.
And lots of Vics hate Geelong, and I've never really known why. I know my grandmother despises Geelong. She just fucking hates Geelong whenever they come on. Like I was living with her briefly when I was down in Melbourne, and we were talking about the football, and she goes, "Oh, I fucking hate Geelong. I don't like watching them play." And I was like, "Why?" She didn't have a reason. She just really hated Geelong. So on the basis of at least one person in Victoria, they're hated. You'll notice I put... Oh, sorry, go on.
We'll definitely get to it, but I feel like it worked out in the end because my what I thought was what's the term? Irrational hatred of some NRL teams. I thought was irrational, and then when I grew up and understood what classes were, my irrational hatrages were all founded. So it worked out really well. Obviously being the Cats, you had to think of cat Pokemon, like cat Pokemon. And as Mike pointed out, there's Perugly, there's Purloin and Lipard, there's Skitty. Press F.
There's I'm gonna send one. There's lots and lots and lots of cat Pokemon. None of them have even close to the same story that mimics Geelong. Like none of them are nearly as popular as Incineroar. The only one that would be Meowth because of Team Rocket and Persian with Giovanni. But they didn't feel right. You know, they didn't feel right. They're not intimidating like Incineroar is.
You're doing very well, and I'm finding it very hard to keep track of, like, jump between the Pokemon world and football world. You're doing a great job doing it seamlessly, and my brain has to like stop for a second and readjust and be like, okay, now it's over.
Yeah, I really, 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 really fucking love football. So yeah, it's for all during football season, I listen to about 5 different AFL podcasts. All other media consumption goes through the window. I just watch and read and listen to AFL stuff. So this is when it's useful, and at literally no other point is it useful for me.
on a Pokemon Twitch show.
Yeah.
It's the only time football knowledge is useful.
Next one. This one just, I love this one. So, Melbourne.
I'm looking at the charcuterie and I'm already...
Yeah. Let's talk about the photo that's there first. So that photo was taken at a Melbourne home game in the MCG members area, which is a very expensive place to be. It's actually very cost effective if you go to like every football game and you also go to the cricket and you're just constantly going there. But it costs $200 a year, actually more than $200 a year. I applied for it. I got it. It took me 17 years. I got it when I was 17. My grandfather put me down when I was born. There's a really big fucking long waiting list. But because I was living in Sydney, let it slide, moved to Melbourne, regretted that decision. But also it would have cost me like about $500 in membership fees to keep it for a couple of years. So it's a very expensive thing to hold. And there's this guy or girl, I don't actually know, the Melbourne supporter who brought their own fucking cheese board to the football. No meat pies, no sausage rolls, no hot chips, just a bit of brie.
I would like
nice bread.
There's an avocado, which is, I can only assume this is a Beamer.
Yeah.
Once again, the class wars.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. The MCC is full of boomers because you have to be old. You have to be on the waiting list for years and old and rich to afford to go. I don't know too many people my age who are members, but I know lots of people my parents' age and older who are members.
So is their home ground the MCG?
Yeah, multiple teams have the MCG as their home ground. Okay. Between the Melbourne clubs, a couple of them have the MCG and a couple of them have Marvel Stadium, which is like
Across
the
town.
less prestigious one. It is across town, the arse end of town. I actually like going to the Marvel Stadium. It's actually easier to get to and from. Or it was easier to get to and from for me.
Yeah. Next one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't even talk about Superior.
Oh,
but,
sorry.
It's self-explanatory. No, it's pretty self-explanatory, right? I mean, they're the type of people that bring fucking cheese boards to the football. Of course, they're going to be superior. They look down on everybody else from on high. What more is there to say?
Because it's a serpent and it's a knob. It's superior. Do you get it?
Maybe Snubble is what I'm after. Classy Pokemon. Is Snubble a classy Pokemon?
Yeah, in Pokemon Detective Pikachu, Snubble is like not beat cop. He's like the chief's assistant, so he's like a gumshoe type.
Yeah. Too working class. Too working class. It'd have to be, something prim and proper. The tail looks like Rocket. It does a little bit. It's like some nice... I wonder if you could pick those leaves on his tail. Add them to your salad.
Don't eat the snake.
That's one that we'll file away for our edible Pokemon episode.
Oh my god. I mean, I don't feel strongly about that. If you feel strongly, you can do that. But we can also open that up.
Strongly. It keeps coming up though. Every time, I feel like at least once per stream, it comes up about edible Pokemon. So I feel like we're going to be forced into it one way or another.
I feel like it's too easy though. Is the reason why I don't want to do that. That's the only reason I'm apprehensive.
Yeah. Okay. So in the anime, Snubble lives in a mansion. So perhaps we'll need to watch more anime episodes in order to get a.
Yeah. I guess because I feel like before like teacup dogs became like a fashion accessory. I feel like bulldogs sort of were associated with like rich people.
The working class, yeah.
No, not the working class, like superior people. Like
okay, right. Yeah,
more like guard dogs than anything. But yeah, I get it. But Snubble also has like a little dress on. So I understand. I see that. Waluigi and Smash, you're banned from saying Waluigi on the stream.
Shall we move on?
Yes.
Okay, so this is Tropius, and this is North Melbourne. So North Melbourne is a big, like, really vibe from me. I didn't know really who to put. I actually asked Mitch, and I said, I know you got something to say, but let me just justify my choice real quick. I asked Mitch, who is a good forgotten Pokemon? Like, who's a good one that just flies under the radar and everyone kind of forgets existed for a little while? And he said any Pokemon from Gen 4. And he said, actually, how about like that weird the tree dragon lizard thing? And I was like, oh, this one. Yeah, okay, cool. Never heard of it before. I just made a bit of an assumption that it's not cool / hipster to be a fan of them, because it's not cool to be a fan of North. Like, it's kind of like people just forget that you exist and you're not very cool. Your song sucks. No one wants to join your club, and you play at the shitty stadium in Melbourne, and you have no members. But the good thing is that they don't have pokies at their clubs. All of the venues that they own, they're pokey free. So good shit, North Melbourne.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. But apart from that, not have much going for you.
Okay. A couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember all of them. Tropius? I would say... I know this is a topic for contention. I would definitely say Tropius, and the reason for that is because it's a tropical Pokemon.
Yeah, that would make sense. That would make sense.
However, I might just be totally wrong, and I can look it up at some point. Yeah, I mean, when I wrote this little note down the bottom saying Tropius definitely has some hardcore hipster fans. There was one specifically. I remember some sort of online personality that I like talking about how cool it is and listening and being like, this is so wrong. Tropius sucks. But I can't remember who that was. And I looked up the person who I thought it was. I was incorrect. So I'm not entirely sure. The other thing is, I think this is another great choice, great combination. North Melbourne, I kind of forgot was a team.
Yeah.
The team I the least about.
They'll do that.
Where is North Melbourne? Does that encapsulate like Fitzroy and stuff?
No, North Melbourne is a suburb, which is directly north of the Melbourne CBD. It's slightly west of where Fitzroy and Carlton are.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. I didn't even know where it was, so fuck.
Yeah.
I know where Geelong is. I know where Richmond is.
Mike makes a great point saying that is there a Pokemon that sleeps with its teammates' wives? Because that's what it
Mr.
is.
Mime?
It's one carry Pokemon. Yeah, Mr. Mime might have been an apt choice, but actually no, it probably could have been a good choice. So just to explain, in the late 90s, maybe the early 2000s, I think the captain of North Melbourne was this guy, Glenn Archer, and their star forward was this guy, oh, damn it. There was this guy who played on the team. He was like a superstar forward, like one of the best forwards ever. His name was Wayne Carey. He went on to Glassy's girlfriend and get deported from America.
That guy. Yes, yeah. I see.
But he started off that string of really respectable behaviour by at a party with his teammates and all of their families, like literally at the party, him and Glenn Archer's wife like had sex in the toilet or something, and everyone could tell. And then like and it fucking ruined the team. He had to get traded to Adelaide after that because they couldn't be on the same team as all of these people because he literally fucked his captain's wife at a function where everybody was present.
Bit orcs.
Very awkward. Very, very awkward.
And that man has somehow maintained a job for
career.
life. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a commentator on the games. Not good. And everyone always says it's annoying because he is actually one of the better commentators in the sense that he's better than Bruce McAvaney, but that's a very low bar.
It's a low.
But he does because he's an incredibly good footballer. Like whenever he says something about football, it's usually correct and or accurate. But unfortunately, he's a big shithead, and I hate him. So unlucky.
Just like Tropius.
So I'm going to say Tropius. I don't care. That's how I said it in my head. I can't unsay it now. I'm stuck.
No, that's fine. That's fine. But I think you've made good assessments of not even cool / hipstery to be a fan of. Yeah. It's like, yeah, I mean, respect people's decisions, but like, I feel like Tropius could have been like, or Tropius, like has massive potential. There's a few things that could have just been tweaked a little bit to make it like a cool ass dinosaur.
Is it the removal of the banana chin?
That's the first point. Definitely first. Maybe even as like a prequel to the main points, just because it's like we can't start until these bananas are gone.
Yeah.
Second point, armor. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that's all. That's all. Just a few minor tweaks.
However, every Pokemon could be improved by armor. Case in point, Mewtwo.
Correct. Except when they put him in Pokemon Go, he looked like a freak.
Yeah, he didn't look.
That doesn't count, though. That doesn't count.
He looked like the Arkham Knight from Batman Arkham Knight.
It's not good. It's not what you want to be associated with.
Yeah, that game is terrible. Let's do car platforming levels.
Let's not.
Let's not do that, actually. How about we don't actually do that? Anyway, next one.
Yeah, next one. This was the easiest. This was without question the absolute fucking easiest one. And I know further on we're going to talk about the Gold Coast again, Australia's sporting graveyard. Experiment gone wrong, clearly. I don't know about the Titans, but the Suns have never finished higher than 12th in an 18-team league. They've been around for about 6-7 years. They were given loads of draft concessions to like get them going. The Giants just made a grand final, and they started after the Suns. The Suns have had 3 former captains leave, including 2 captains that were co-captains at the time. They're like, fuck this, we don't want to play for this club anymore, even though we're the captains. Good, see you fucking later.
Did they fuck each other's wives?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it would have been big news if it was.
They did.
They have no fans. Gold Coast Suns have the lowest membership total. I don't know of anybody that actually enjoys the Ultra Beasts. Poorly mismanaged. No one asked for them. They're bad.
And I feel like you've picked the worst one. I can't even remember what that Ultra Beast's name is.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't look it up. I just looked at the pictures.
I've fucked something up here. Something bad has happened. I just want to talk about.
Oh, sorry, you go.
I just want to talk about how shit the Gold Coast Suns logo is. It looks like it's on the box of a cereal. Like
it's one of the biggest problems with the Gold Coast Suns. Now, I'm not going to lie. I could spend the next 40 minutes talking about the Gold Coast Suns and what specifically has gone wrong with them, because I know a lot about how they fucked it all up. But for starters, like, what the shit is that? It looks so bad, like so bad. And just I'm gonna put in a picture of what their Guernsey looks like because.
Oh, don't
like,
worry, I have one later.
Oh yeah, you do. You have one later. You have one later. Because like it's almost like because if you go back to the North Melbourne slide, their logo is I'm just going to bring it over onto the Sun slide for comparison.
Okay.
So
they have a sick
their logo, like it's pretty cool, right? But like also their Guernsey, that's not what their Guernsey looks like. Like they don't have that image directly translated onto their Guernsey. They don't even have the picture of the kangaroo. It's just blue and white stripes because that's what Guernsey should look like. They should be like very cleanly designed. The Gold Coast Suns, well, let's just say that get used to seeing that weird fucking GC with the rays of light coming out of it because it's a recurring theme. It's a recurring theme.
The team's not going to Tasmania anytime soon.
And that's a shame for us all.
So yeah, the Gold Coast Suns. The problem is the sun is an egg, and that ain't good.
There's nothing. There's nothing to like. I don't even know how you salvage this team. Like genuinely don't know how you fix it. Short of deleting them and starting again elsewhere.
In Tasmania, yeah.
In Tasmania, please.
The Gold Coast Suns handling. Gillan McLaughlin's handling of the Suns has earned him the nickname from Maroon HG, the Murderer. And they got to the point where they don't refer to him by his name anymore. They just call him the Murderer now, which is a pretty heavy nickname to put on someone. But,
yeah.
It's very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it with Gold Coast and sport teams? It's like Las Vegas and sport teams as well, I think, except they have a good hockey team now.
Yeah, well, they made the cup finals once in their first year.
They have
a bunch of reject players that no other teams wanted. That's pretty fucking good.
They have a decent hockey team now. I was in Las Vegas when they made their playoffs, and everyone was like, "Oh my god!"
I'm so sorry to diverge to another sport that I like.
Yeah.
Fucking, do you know the when Vegas made the cup finals, they had Florida Panthers former coach that we sacked halfway through the season because we hadn't won enough games. Clearly wasn't the coach because he just coached a team to a cup final, and then 3 players that we literally said we don't want you anymore, go play for Vegas, you're not part of our future, that then went on to be like the top goal scorers for the team. I hate my life. Why did we do that?
Right, so you have a grudge against the Las Vegas.
Well, it's a little bit. It's more I have a grudge against my own team's, I don't know what it's called in hockey, but list manager, I guess, because boy.
I go for
anyway.
I go for the Rangers because they have the same team colours as my NRL team, but we'll get to that.
All right,
just to bring it back around to footy.
Yeah. Let's keep it to footy.
We'll do next team will be ice hockey Pokemon.
Yeah, next we'll do ice hockey Pokemon. Ice hockey teams are like Pokemon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now this is
the last AFL one that I did, and I'm very pleased with the comparison that I've made. So, just gonna put it out there. I fucking hate Hawthorn. Oh, hate them. Particularly but you know when you hate a team because they're just so good and they just keep winning, and your team like loses to them,
like
and
Melbourne
you're like,
and Roosters.
Yeah, actually, I know enough about NRL to think that that's correct. That was like me and Hawthorn, because Hawthorn kept beating the Swans. We lost 2 grand finals to them. Did we lost 2 grand finals? I think we did. No, we lost 1 and we won 1. But like they constantly beat us in the season games. It was fucking irritating. They're so good, and they've been so good for so long. They won 3 fucking premierships in a row, and that wasn't enough for them. They couldn't just like be bad. They had to like go and sign a bunch of really good players and now be good. Can the nerve? Bianca just fast tracked to Essendon and Buzzball. He's their mascot. I didn't include it, Mike, because it's too easy. It's too easy.
Essendon isn't in here, but I just saw that apparently Mason Cox might be getting traded to Essendon, which is funny.
Yeah,
to me.
I don't know if that'll happen. I really don't want to sidetrack, but I've been paying attention to the trade. Yeah.
This is the one episode you're allowed to talk about football because it's directly related to the topic.
So trade period opened on Monday for the AFL, and the big news of the trade period so far, well, at least in my opinion, has been that Joe Danaher, who's Essendon's superstar forward, is the last 2 seasons he's had osteopubitis, which I don't really know what it means, but it basically means like your leg, hip, knees, and ankle are just fucked, and like moving and running is incredibly painful, and there's no real like solution to it. Like it's not like, oh, you've done your ACL, you've got to go have surgery or some shit, or like you've torn your calf muscle, you just need to wait for it to do it. Like with osteopubitis, it can really fuck you up. So he's had that, and he's just come out and formally said, I want to play for Sydney next year, my team, in case you couldn't tell. This would be a horrible idea, and I really fucking hope we don't sign him, because we already have Buddy Franklin, who's a 33-year-old key forward who is a gun but also very injured. Then we have Sam Reid, he's like 27 or something, key forward, always injured. We have about 3 other young key forwards, Blakey, McCartan, and Cameron. And then we want to sign Joe Danaher, like a 200-tall meter, the 23-year-old man who has osteopubitis. Like, what the fuck? Why would we do that?
You gotta.
Why would we do that? Anyway, let's get back to Hawthorn. Hawthorn is Blaziken. Like, dude, there was a period, right, recently, I remember it was when Pokken tournament came out, when I felt
it's definitely Pokken. I will die on that hill.
Okay. It's not got 2 Ks?
Yeah, 2 Ks.
So it would be Pokken, not Pokken? Wouldn't it be Pokken if it was just 1?
Yeah, but it's Po because it's Pokemon. The only part from Tekken that matters is the Ken at the end. Okay,
all right, well, Pokken.
You can say however you want, but I just need this to be very clear.
Okay. In the Pokemon Tekken game that came out, I remember like Blaziken was like one of the main fighters that you could do, and I felt like at that point he'd saturated. He was everywhere at that point, I felt like. And that was kind of like Hawthorn, because it was a couple of years ago now that Hawthorn were really, really good. They're still good, don't get me wrong. And I did check Smoke on. Blaziken's still good. Just want to put that out there. It's still good. It hasn't really dropped off. It's still really fucking good competitively.
It's fighting type as well, isn't it?
Yeah, firefighting.
Yeah.
I also just think like they're kind of boring. Like I don't really like I've made it clear I don't like Hawthorn, but I like they're also, I just find them very like boring. Like their colours like golden brown.
Yeah, that's brown. Brown is the predominant colour. It's the same colours as UPS. Color.
Yeah, it's not good, and I don't have any strong fond feelings, any strong fondness for Blaziken. It's just a fighting chicken thing.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just replying in the chat.
Oh, no, that's okay.
Blaziken sucks. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
So I think we've talked about before that Gen 3, at least for me, was the last time that I went to a Pokemon game completely fresh, because it was still so early. And I picked Torchic in my very first run, because obviously, and then evolved into Combusken. I was like, oh, cool. It kind of looks like a weird little chicken, but I think this looks cool. But yeah, hopefully it evolves into something really cool, and then evolved into this. And I was like, okay.
The chicken man is here.
The chicken man has come to knee me in the face. And that's how I feel about Hawthorn.
Yeah.
Chicken man's come to knee me in the face. Yeah, it sucks. The design is terrible. What's going on with the hair? The face should not be a solid red color.
His hair goes down fucking like this. It's like his chest piece, and he's like goes under his armpits. Yeah. It's all one piece of hair.
And he's wearing
what is that?
And he's wearing flares as well.
Flare pants.
Yeah.
They've come back lately though.
Yeah, not like this. Not like Ronald McDonald flare pants.
No, Ronald McDonald flare pants have not made it back yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Geez, we let's get a wriggle on, bro. Actually, that's it for AFL.
That is. We've finished AFL. We finished the end of my expertise, and I'll now hand over to you, because I did make the first few slides, which I'm happy to talk through, because I have some thoughts about why I did what I did. But then the second half of the NRL teams is all you, because we're out of my comfort zone. Hardcore.
Yeah. Let's. You've nailed the first two there. Obviously, this is the only choice. Melbourne, like Melbourne actively cheated.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It wasn't an accidental thing. They were cooking the books, which is like fucked.
Yeah. I feel like it gets forgotten a little bit. Like the fact that they really they really fucking cheated. Like
Yeah.
not even something with plausible deniability, like the Essendon drug cheating scandal, but like proper like we're cheating, we know what we're doing, we're hiding it on purpose over a period of multiple years.
Yeah. Yeah, they should have been banned from the comp. But they weren't.
They did have all their premierships stripped though, which
I mean, in name
fair enough. Like they had to.
Oh no, never mind. I was going to talk about. Did you see that thing with Hearthstone and Hong Kong and
Did I see the what? Sorry.
Washing? There was a Hearthstone player on one of the Grandmaster streams, and he, while he was on stream, started talking about how Hong Kong should be liberated, and they shut down the stream, and he was banned and I think fined by Blizzard, and everyone was like, "Blizzard, what the fuck?" So yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about it later. I'll link you the story.
Yeah, please do. That's fascinating.
I should have brought this up while we're trying to talk about football. Anyway, these guys cheated there.
Good. They did cheat massively.
And yeah, I will hate them forever. I never liked them anyway because they were such a dominant team and they would always dominate my teams. And I'll hate them forever. Now, I don't hate missing no. However, it is literally the cheat. The cheat of all cheats.
Yeah.
Missing no is iconic and has helped a lot of people finish Pokemon games, which I think we should all be thankful for, even though it's not in a pure form. There's some more other games, and I think by that virtue alone, Missing No is a legend. However, it's legendary for other reasons too.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure Missing No is also a direct work of Iwata as well. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he has something to do with it because he had to come in and help Game Freak fix the Pokemon game because the development was really fucked up. Iwata came in even though he was working for HAL, or he might have been working for Nintendo, either one, and came in and fixed up a bunch of their code for free just because he could, and did. What a legend. So you have Iwata to thank for Pokemon actually being released.
Thank you, Iwata.
Yeah, fuck Melbourne.
Should we jump back to the slide before?
Yeah. What was on the slide before? Oh shit! I missed it.
Yeah.
Whoops.
No, that's good.
Sorry.
That's okay. It doesn't matter the order. So I'll just preface this. My reasoning for this was when the Rabbitohs won is it the premiership? The premiership, not the championship. I think the premiership. When they won, I feel like I was living in Sydney at the time. Everyone was fucking going nuts for them. Everybody was going for South Sydney. And I forget who they played against. I don't know if it was just a product of they were the only Sydney team, so everyone was going for them. But it genuinely felt like there was this big groundswell of support, and no one had any hard feeling for the Rabbitohs. It wasn't like, oh, I have to go for them because they're the only Sydney team. It's like, no, fuck yeah, I hope they win. Like, go them. And that's how I feel everyone would like to feel about Cyndaquil. Does anybody hate Cyndaquil? Like, genuinely? No,
not that I know of, have met, or assume would have met someone brave enough to admit.
Yeah, that would be a huge call if you made that. Huge call to make if you hate Cyndaquil.
No, yeah, first time I played through Pokemon. Oh no, first time I played through Pokemon Silver, Gold, I think I picked for Alligator actually, but I also had Crystal and then I picked Cyndaquil. Cyndaquil rocks. This is perfect. Yeah, Rabbitoh is very much the same. Everyone's second team is like perfect. Perfect summary of the Rabbitohs. And yeah, sort of will never get the recognition that Charmander and Charizard does. But Typhlosion rules. It's just like a cool fire anteater that looks cool and is cool.
Yeah. Dom said I'm baffled by his explosion spine. See, the thing that baffles me is like in all the 3D modeling, it doesn't have the explosion sign unless it's doing something. Like it's an animated thing for it to pop out, and it's like it's resting state. Yeah, it's actually, you know, I'll bring it up because I've got one in Pokemon X and Y in Pokemon Go. I don't know if I have my thing plugged in to do the stream, so I don't know how this is going to work, but I'll just bring it up real quick. Bear with me. But it's fucking weird. Fortunately, all of the official illustrations have it with the fire like out at all times. But yeah, the 3D model is weird.
I'll talk about South Sydney while we wait. So I don't know why. I honestly don't know why They always seem like the perpetual underdog, and no one hates them. But that's just the way it is. And I am in the same camp, so can't really do much about that.
Okay, so here's... Sorry, I just have to get this.
Oh, it's on your phone. Okay.
Yeah. There's Cyndaquil, right? This is my boy. And you'll see that he's got nothing.
Oh, I don't like that.
Yeah, and then if you tap him, he does it, and then it goes away again. And I don't like it at all. Like, I really, really dislike it, actually.
I don't know what to think about this.
Yeah, it's I don't like it. I wish they just made it so that the fire came out all the time, like it should, because that's what every sprite up until now implied to me.
I'm gonna forget that I ever saw or heard about this.
Yeah. I'm sorry if I ruined it for you.
Anyway, that's perfect. Now, I'm very, very interested to get into this. I think your summary is perfect, so don't worry. So the Sea Eagles, which as growing up, they would have been my team, right? Because of where I lived in Sydney, because there was no, the Bears, I guess, got eaten by the Sea Eagles, because the Bears would have been my team. So then by default, it would be the Sea Eagles. But I never really liked them because they're maroon, and my school colour was maroon. And I consequently hated the colour maroon. I've now come around on it, but, it's taken about 6 years. Can I tell you something before you go on?
Yes.
Exactly the same scenario for me. Nothing about not that just being associated with Sea Eagles, but my primary school colour was also maroon, and also associated the colour with school. So blue and maroon, but
yeah. Yeah. Not good. But honestly, the last 2 years, I reckon I've come around on the colour maroon, but it took 7 to get there.
Years of therapy.
Yes. So I've put them as, okay, now I'm going to say it and you're going to correct me, I can tell. Hone Edge.
I would say Hon Edge, but I'm not married to that idea.
Because I think it's like hone, because it's like you would hone a blade, and then also edge because it's got an edge. Like, I'm getting the best of both worlds. I'm not picking.
That sounds fair. Yeah.
So I've said hated except by people who love them, and the reason is that hone edge is an inanimate object, right? It's one of those ones that we've talked about before, and you're on board with all of them, or you don't like them at all. And I don't like them at all, and you're on board with them for the most part. But hone edge is still probably the coolest one. I think everyone would agree with that, right? That Aegis Slash line is the coolest one, because it's a fucking sword. Come on. And then it turns into 2 swords. Love it. And I don't know his name, but you know the guy with the hair that was the coach of Manly for what feels like a really long time?
There's Hasler.
That's the one. He's got a lot of hair, and so does Hone Edge with that little tassel thing that's happening. It's just, I like it.
Yeah, true.
I felt it was apt because the what I remember from when I was younger was that, like, it was like very us versus them with Manly, and you had hated them or you went for them. That was the vibe that I remember when I was growing up.
Yes, I wouldn't say it's exactly like. I wouldn't say it's exactly like Collingwood, but it's not too far off. My nan used to go for Manly, so I was a bit influenced that way. But yeah, fucking hate Manly. I'll never liked Manly. The class warfare is back. But yeah, hated it except for people who love them is totally accurate. Manly Warringah. I mean, it's the team of Tony Abbott as well. So it's like we'll get into current prime ministers and their football team soon.
Yeah.
I don't know how people don't like it. Hone Edge and its evolutions. I think they're all wrong. And if you don't like it, you can get out. I now empathize with Manly supporters after verbalizing that. No.
Something that you'll notice is I've included the Google search there. And this is what came up when I searched Manly Eagles, because I needed to Google them to get their logo. The second result was memes. And I was like, that's a weird result, like, for it to be second. Yeah. Like, ahead of wallpaper, team, jersey, players. Like, I feel like people would be searching for the players more often than the memes. But I guess I'm wrong. And so I decided to include. I searched for the memes, of course, and I decided to include some of the memes that I found, just the first few, and the ones that weren't like homophobic, because there were some, so that was cool.
Cool.
The meme, just gonna say, the NRL. If this is what the NRL has to offer me in terms of memes, they fucking suck, and the AFL has them beat every day of the year.
Yeah, not the smartest fans.
Yeah, the meme, they're fucking weird. Okay, so if you, on the next page, I've got some memes to show you. They're like, what is that? So the first one is like that girl that's like going like this, and it just says, "Is that the Manly Sea Eagles?" Like,
these are literally memes, not just jokes that are on the internet.
Yeah, like memes. And like that one where it's like, "Look at me, Manly Eagles are shit, referees aren't."
I don't get that.
I really don't get that. I thought it was funny to include that, given what happened in the grand final about the referees not being shit, because this was obviously made a little while ago. But there's that one where it's just like, "I go for the Manly Sea Eagles and I'm the sexiest supporter." Like,
that has universal application. I can almost guarantee that originally said Collingwood, and then someone was
like that's not a Manly Sea Eagles meme. That's just like, it's just like a picture that you've put a caption on, and I suppose that's all memes are anyway. The only good one was that one of Globo Gym where it says, "Here at the Manly Sea Eagles, we're better than you and we know it," because I actually kind of like that one. I feel like that would be a genuine meme that people would post because it fits.
Yes.
And then there's that one of Kevin Rodd saying that I support Brisbane Broncos. I don't get it. Like,
he literally does.
Okay, all right. Okay, that makes sense now, because I didn't understand it. I was just like, I don't understand the Bronco Eagles dynamic. I thought that was more of a joke instead of just Kevin Rudd literally goes for the Broncos.
I think this is equating Manly Sea Eagle supporters to right-wing Christian scum, and this was made by someone who supports the Broncos.
Okay, well, good meme, I guess.
Very good.
So they're on 2 out of 5 though for decent memes.
It's not really a joke. It's
just a statement.
I'm not justifying it. I'm just explaining the thought process here. Please do not lump me in with this crass subject matter.
And I had to, of course, actually, it's not even 2 out of 5. It's 2 out of more, because I didn't include the fucking homophobic ones. That were not good.
Good choice.
Anyway, I didn't. I thought, like, I nearly did, but I was like, actually, I don't want to put that on the stream. Now over to you, because this is all you, and I know nothing.
I realized I capitalized all the words Pokemon on your slides and forgot to do it for mine.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. So earlier I said the NRL fans aren't the smartest people. I was obviously joking. However, I'm now about to justify it by telling you that I've been an NRL fellow since I was a kid. And the team that I go for is the Newcastle Knights. Very much a tier above Gold Coast, maybe 2 tiers above Gold Coast teams. But they've had a very bad run for a very long time. And I equate that to Mimikyu. I mean, this is like one of those things where everyone obviously loves Mimikyu, but in terms of the story, has a tragic backstory. In recent years, Newcastle Knights have had a lot of coach and ownership problems. Their owner for a little while was Nathan Tinkler, who I don't think he's in jail, but he will be soon.
He did commit fraud though, didn't he, or something?
Big fraud.
Yeah. Mega fraud.
Allegedly. It might have been. Yeah, it was one of the. It was a big white collar crime.
So he might go to jail.
Yeah, but everyone in Newcastle loves the Newcastle Knights, and wishes they were something else. By that I mean, wishes they were a Sydney team, and had as much funding and fans as Sydney teams. Loves the 90s. I thought was a great comparison to make, because Newcastle Knights were good in the 90s. They won the 1997 premiership, and Mimikyu obviously loves Pikachu, which came out in the 90s.
Oh yeah. Dom, you make a great point. I think you mean the Knights Newcastle. I noticed that when I went and got that picture. Why does it say why does it say Knights Newcastle? Why does it say that? It should say Newcastle at the top and then Knights down the bottom.
It should. I'm not going to argue with you.
Yeah, I can't argue with that because I don't know enough to debate you. Except that is that Matthew or Andrew Johns?
It's both.
What did they do? Something went wrong. What did they do? I forget.
Both on lots of drugs. Matthew Johns, rape allegations. But it was the 2000s, so you can get away with that and still have a career. Well, you can still have a career now, but
yeah.
And the guy on the far left is Chief, who's Paul Harrigan, I think his name is, who is also on the Footy show. Yeah, and also in ads. Yes, he's in that. Yeah,
love it. Love to learn about health insurance from him.
Yes. Anyway, allegedly for all those things, if I got the crimes wrong.
Yeah.
I know lots of Andrew Johns loved the drugs. He will admit that. I'm pretty sure Matthew Johns is rape allegations, but can't confirm. Pokemon, woo!
Yay! Back to Pokemon.
This one I thought yeah, okay. So Bulbasaur. It is the hipster choice for favorite starter. You have to admit. Because everyone's battling it out between Charmander and Squirtle. But it's also the West Tigers are the hipster choice because it's literally the Western Sydney team, which also covers Balmain, obviously, which covers the inner West. So they're literally the inner West's team. Unless you could also count South Sydney, I guess, but either one. I feel like they just have a neutral good energy. I mean, Benji Marshall is synonymous with the team, right? Look at that smile. It just looks like such a nice guy.
He does look like a nice guy. He actually does look like a nice guy. He doesn't look like I'm going to get belted, which is the vibe I get from a lot of NRL
players. Yeah. Yeah, no one. That's fine. But yeah, Benji Marshall is known for being very good at go to. And Bulbasaur is much the same. Bulbasaur is not my favorite, but it is actually like, it just sort of doesn't get.
But you don't hate Bulbasaur.
Not at all. If Bulbasaur was a starter in any other generation, I would pick it 100% of the time.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it turns into a cool fucking dinosaur thing with a giant tropical island on its back. That's awesome.
Couple of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can we talk about Bulbasaur's clutch roll and Detective Pikachu? That solidifies neutral good energy.
Oh, very neutral.
Absolutely solidified. Never been cuter. I think I said this when we did our Detective Pikachu stream, but that scene turned Bulbasaur for me from just being like, oh, he's okay, to oh no, Bulbasaur's fucking great. I love him.
Fair enough. Hypno doesn't have neutral good energy though, like the West Tigers. So there you go.
Hypno might beckon you into an alley and do something to hypnotize you to do something bad.
Yeah. I don't want to say the R word again, but that's the energy.
It might hypnotize you to do some crime. He might hypnotize you to rob someone.
Yeah, that's better than what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Now this one is I have very strong feelings for.
Yeah.
Never liked the Sharks. As someone who my local football team was the Illawarra, St. George Illawarra. Cronulla and Sutherland are directly north of Wollongong. So,
Bit of rivalry.
Bit of rivalry going there. I feel like I'm not going for the furry angle here, but invoking that energy, which is something I say a lot, but it's fine.
Yes.
Low punny is embarrassing to be a fan of, much like it is the Sharks, because our Prime Minister, who is a terrible person, is a fan. Also, I don't know about you, but even mentioning Cronulla, it reminds me of a certain event in 2004/5. Been embarrassing to talk about.
A black mark. Yeah. Bit of a black mark.
Yeah, exactly. Only enjoyed by psychopaths. You'd have to be a psychopath to admit to liking either of these things. Evokes shit energy, and by that I mean literal shit, because Low Punny is obviously brown. Scott Morrison obviously has a history. And bougie. I mean, I'm pretty sure, as we talked about on the Low Punny episode, that they make high fashion garments out of Low Punny fur. And the Sharks are bougie as fuck over in the eastern
Yep.
suburbs. So there you go.
Yep. Is there a racist Pokemon that wears a flag? Look, if Jinx was just a little bit more bogan, it would totally be Jinx. It would totally be Jinx.
Very true.
Yeah.
The other thing about the Sharks I should mention is that this might only be my view. But I feel like I speak for the everyman when I judge these teams. However, there are some teams that are skewed. I'd say the Sharks, in my opinion, are skewed a little bit. We'll get to the team that is most skewed, which is next in my brain.
You know, it's funny, but just before we move on real quick, I actually had a bit of a soft spot for the Sharks because we were like loosely family friends with the dude that was the chairman of the Sharks. Like, the guy that got done doing coke, I'm pretty sure, and then had to step down.
Which one?
What was his name?
Never mind. It was.
I don't remember. He was really fucking tall. He used to play basketball or some shit for Australia. I don't know how he ended up in rugby, but there you go.
Gazy.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. He's too short. This guy was way taller. Yeah, I remember when they won after that, I was like, oh, good on them. Like, they won. Like, I remember meeting that dude once. Good on him. And then, like, it all came out, and I was like,
Yeah, it might just be me though that has a negative view of the Sharks, but
yeah,
maybe not since Scott Morrison became Prime Minister.
Yeah, no, that's wiped away any goodwill.
Yeah. This next one, I feel very strongly about these, and I'm happy that I got to drag it in there.
Yes, I was surprised to see it, but as I thought about it, it sort of makes sense. So continue to justify it.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how the Dragons. There's no way for me to look at the St. George Illawarra Dragons not through a different lens, because I spent 20 years of my life growing up in the Illawarra. I was also born in an era where the St. George Illawarra Dragons didn't exist, because it used to be the Illawarra Steelers, which was a cool as hell team. They had two different leagues. I specifically remember this one on the left, which was their one in the 90s before the team was merged with St. George. But they also had this cool ass one on the right, which is very like, I don't know, it reminds me of like the 50s/60s. Like, it looks like it should be on a steel lunchbox to me.
Yes, definitely. His jaw is a little weird though.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but the aesthetic is very cool. Like the way that it says Steelers looks like Speed Racer for sure, Dom, for sure.
So, not saying that the St. George Illawarra Dragons aren't cool at the moment, but to me, at the very least, the previous iteration, the Steelers, looked way cooler before it was merged. And one of the reasons people from my neck of the woods always get angry when people call the team St. George. Because St. George there's a lot of suburbs actually in between the Illawarra and St. George. Cronulla and Sutherland are both in between the Illawarra and St. George for one. But the teams were merged, and we're all still salty about it. So if people don't say the full name St. George Illawarra, everyone gets the shits. Anyway. They only play like a quarter of their games in the Illawarra too, which sucks, because the Wollongong Stadium's awesome. It's next to the beach.
I did not know that. That's actually really rad.
Yeah. It's I'll just move this cat out of the way.
She just wants to participate.
Yeah. She is a Pokemon. Hey. It's right next to the beach. It's on the Wollongong Harbour. The WIN Stadium, which is where the St. George, a quarter of their games are played. The other games are played in Cogra, which is in Sydney, which sucks, but I digress. It's right next to the beach. It's also where people like to drag race out the front.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. It's getting quite late, so let's wrap it up. To relate it back to Dragonair, I should probably... Oh, Dragonite. Dragonair looks way cooler, so it used to be cooler beforehand. My views on both Dragonite and the Dragons are distorted, because I think Dragonite is actually really cool. However, I can objectively understand that it's really derpy and not cool. I'm pretty sure the Dragons aren't doing very well this season, so they should be good, but no, like, it should have evolved into something way cooler.
Yeah,
but it
yeah.
didn't.
I'll never understand why Dragonite isn't blue. Like, I will never understand that. Dratini's blue. Dragonair's blue. Dragonite is yellow with not a hint of blue on him. Fucking riddle me that.
You know what would be cool? If they can't retcon it now, but
No.
can they retcon it? No, they can make a Mega Dragonite. Alolan, yeah, that's even better.
Yeah, or Galarian, like, yeah, that would be cool, and make it blue.
They abandoned Mega Evolution, so yeah.
Megas are dead.
Yeah,
bring on the regional variants.
Yeah, a regional variant, but like keeping in this exact same like style as Dragonair and Dratini.
Yeah. Oh, Mike, where's the A-League's team Pokemon? I need your contribution on that because I know literally nothing about the A-League. I know nothing at all. I need you to tell me, Mike, because I know you know about A-League.
I know a couple of... Here's the things I know about the A-League. One, the Western Sydney Warriors. No, Western Sydney Wanderers.
Mm-hmm.
There's another Sydney team. And when the A-League was introduced, there were 2 Melbourne teams, and the Serbians picked one team, and the Croatians picked the other, so they could perpetuate the long-standing rivalry.
Love it.
Oh, it might have been Macedonians. I can't remember. Anyway. Look, I'm not going to lie. I view sports through the lens of classism and racism. And
it's
geopolitical wars.
It's the only way.
I can't help it. I do love sport. Let's admit it. It's the most interesting part. Let's move on.
Let's move on. Now.
Feel strong.
One of the... I just want to say, I know who that guy on the left is. It's one of the few people who I fucking know who they are. So, and I know how good he is. I know he's a legend. So go JT.
Mm-hmm. Jonathan Thurston's great. They had a really bad run of really bad ref calls where they would nearly make the grand final and nearly make the finals, and then a really bad and blatant ref call was made and they were robbed. Much like Dratini, who was thrown under the bus to protect Pikachu.
You mean Porygon was thrown under the bus? Dratini wasn't involved.
Dratini was not involved. Porygon was thrown under the bus to protect Pikachu when that episode aired, and Porygon was banned from all storylines and everything else. You know, all those things. Deserves so much better. I mean, Cowboys eventually won a premiership a couple of years ago, which is great. But they'll probably not do that again for a very long time. One, because JT has retired, and the other is because they got very lucky. And they didn't get lucky. They worked fucking hard, obviously. But
but you need a bit of luck to win a premiership.
Exactly. And they didn't have any bad ref calls that prevented them from winning. We talked about this on our other Discord today about conspiracy theories to keep non-Sydney teams down, but that is for another stream.
Yes.
Our last one.
Last but not least. Although, yes, the least.
Hey.
Hey.
If you didn't tune in earlier, I copied everything Bianca wrote down because the Gold Coast Titans are exactly the same as the Suns. In every way, shape, and form. Actually, I think Titans are a little bit less embarrassing. Someone I grew up with plays for the Titans now.
Oh, really? There you go.
I'll tell you about it later. But very similar. Weird experiment. They've been around longer than the Suns have, I'm pretty sure. I think
they have.
Titans have been around for ages, but they've never had a really good season. Gold Coast is cursed for sport teams, which is a shame because the Gold Coast is sort of like an entertainment place, and having a live sport team to watch and cheer for because they're good would be great.
It makes a lot of sense, right? Like it should do well, but I feel like the thing that we always forget is that Gold Coast is probably full of a lot of transient population, and like the people that do live there, like probably boomer retirees who might not care, and like I might be more interested in doing golf or some shit.
Yeah, or AFL. Like, let's be real.
Yeah, but I mean the thing is that like Brisbane exists, like the Brisbane Lions exist, like, and they were extremely fucking successful in the early 2000s. Like, if anyone was going to like get Queenslanders back into AFL, it's going to be a resurgence of the Brisbane Lions, not a shitty team that constantly loses.
You know who was really good throughout the 2000s from the NRL? The Brisbane Broncos.
Must have been a golden period to be a Queenslander. Yeah. Both your teams wear maroon. You don't even have to like buy new shirts. You can just turn up to the AFL in a fucking Broncos jersey. You'd fit right in. Yeah.
And they won State of Origin like 9 years in a row. While Melbourne was winning the fucking NRL grand finals, premierships. Gold Coast A-League team also failed. Yeah.
I didn't even know there was a Gold Coast A-League. What were they called? I'm going to Google that.
It doesn't matter. The Dinosaurs would be good for Clive Palmer.
Gold Coast United.
Great name.
Yeah.
That'll go down in everyone's memories.
Super memorable.
Yeah, I've also gone for an Ultra Beast, and much like that last one, I don't remember this name. I think it starts with a B. I feel like it's like Blacifion or Blacion or something like that.
I like to call it Ice Cream Tissue Boy.
Interesting. Oh, it's like a rainbow paddle pop. Rainbow paddle pop tissue boy.
You're melted. Rainbow paddle pop tissue clown boy.
I gotta write this down so we can name the Ford.
Yeah.
What? Melted rainbow paddle pop. What?
Tissue clown boy.
Tissue clown boy. Can we just make a little clown boy? That's a Monster Factory thing. Thank you for this gift. The Melted Rainbow Paddle Pop Tissue Clown Boy will get its own episode probably in the future because I'm doing this Ultra Beast series.
Yeah.
I can't believe that's literally what it is, and you can't argue against that. This is why I'm so obsessed with this title. Try to tell me that it's not those words put together, and you'll be wrong. 100% of the time.
Close your eyes, envision those words as one entity, and that's what you'll get.
Yeah. Fuck that Pokemon. We should wrap it up.
We should.
We've gone, 9:46. Holy shit.
We've done a bloody long stream. We had a lot of, it was mainly my fault. I have a lot to talk about football. This will be my next thing. I'm just going to start a football podcast.
Yeah, it's cool. I'll guest every week and not have anything to talk about. Thank you for watching, everyone. Really appreciate you joining. We should be your company and joining in the chat as always. I will be streaming some Pokemon White Nuzlocke tomorrow night. I was going to do it on Thursday, but I'm going to do it tomorrow night instead. It'll be the Wednesday, Thursday, possibly both nights. We'll see how I feel going forward. It's one of those things. I will try to get more consistent. Maybe I would in the perfect world I would do Wednesday, Thursday, but then X and Y would be live 3 nights a week, and that's crazy. But it's really easy for me to stream Pokemon White because I fucking love playing Pokemon games. It's not very hard, and I love talking about Pokemon. So yeah,
who would have thought?
Let's go.
Thanks guys. And yes, they do look like Alan's lolly bags.
Yes, and Melted Rainbow Paddle Pop Tissue Clone Boy.